Hello, this is Thomas here, K4SWL, and I hope everyone's doing well. Thought I'd shoot another one of my real-time, real-life videos today, and out here at the Blue Ridge Parkway in near Asheville, North Carolina. Actually, I'm at the Folk Art Center. A lot of the Blue Ridge Parkway is closed. I like this site because it's one of the closest to my QTH. I can drive here in less than 25 minutes, and actually I can walk to the Blue Ridge Parkway from my house. It's a hike, but it's about 800 feet of elevation and change, and right now I'm letting my ankle heal after hurting it last month. So I'm trying to do park activations right now that are a little closer to home, where I don't have to do a lot of hiking. I'm almost there though. I can't wait to start hiking again. Today I'm doing something a little different. I have a new radio with me, a new to me radio, the Icom IC-703 Plus. And I'm going to try to do a park activation here. I've got the Chameleon Impasse 2.0 antenna set up. You can see the vertical going way up into the trees here. It's actually a pretty stealthy antenna for doing this sort of thing. Not that anyone cares here. In fact, a park ranger just drove past me. One of the negatives about this particular site is it is close to all the parking, and people stop and ask me directions and all kinds of things when I'm doing activations here at this place. And they'll ask what I'm doing, which normally I don't mind too much. I like promoting amateur radio when I'm out doing these sorts of things, but during coronavirus and all that stuff, I just would rather just be on my own, frankly. But anyway, we'll see how this goes today. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that there are no edits in this video. It is real time, real life. You're here with me, and we're kind of doing this activation together, and we'll see how this goes. It was probably a really bad idea, bad judgment on my part to do this today, because I'm in a bit of a hurry. I don't have a lot of time. Got my father-in-law's stopping by the QTH after a while to, I'm going to try to fix his computer. And so I don't have a lot of time to do an activation. And at the same time, I'm using a brand new radio to me. The 703 has been around since I think about 2002 or so, right around the same time that the Icom 706 was released. The 706 is the 100 watt version of this radio. I'm guessing that probably a lot of you watching the video have used the 703 before, or the 706, or the 706 Mark II. They made a bunch of different versions of these. This is the 703 Plus. I think the original 703 was I think it was a 160 to 10 meter radio. This one has 6 meters on it, and it also has a built-in ATU. I don't know all the different versions. I need a new QRP radio like I need a hole in the head, to be honest with you. But I have a buddy who told me that he wanted to sell me his, and he made a great price for it. This one has no options in it at all. It's just a stock 703 Plus, and because of that, that's where I think I'm going to be making a mistake today, because this has no optional filter in it. And I'm so used to reviewing, you know, I review and evaluate a lot of different transceivers, and most of the ones I review are new to market, and most SDR transceivers especially have variable bandwidth filters and all those things kind of built into it. Like this one's, I should say the latest iteration of this radio, which is the Icom IC-705, which is Icom's latest QRP radio, and you see me use it in a lot of videos. I mean, everything's built into that thing except for a tuner. I mean, it'll do pretty much everything right out of the box. There are no optional filters, no nothing. Well, in this era of radio, Icom and Yaesu with the 817 had basically positioned for one optional filter. So basically, you kind of, if you work both CW and SSB, you had to decide which one you wanted. I find that a CW filter, if you're a CW operator, is just about essential with these radios. So, excuse me, if I operate CW today, which I plan to do, it'll be with something like a 2.3 or 2.4 kilohertz bandwidth. That's wide for me. I am not a terribly good CW operator. My buddy Vlado, N3CZ, 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 Vlado, he can operate CW while he's having a conversation with you, and I'm just totally the opposite. I've kind of got a one-track mind. I can't do multitasking, and so I don't know how well this will work. If I get adjacent signals around me, it could be really distracting, and I may have to just hop off of here and not do the CW activation. But anyway, the only thing I have done with this radio so far is turn it on at the house, operate it with CW. I made a few POTA contacts from home, hunting stations. I set up the CW memories. I did that right before I came out here, actually. And I've never operated the tuner in this, to my knowledge. And I've never made an SSB contact with this. And this is certainly my first Parks on the Air activation. Now, I do have a CW filter en route for this. I ordered a 500 hertz filter off of eBay from someone. It's on its way, so I'll be installing that as soon as it comes in. But for the moment, it doesn't have it, so we'll just this will give you an idea what it's like when you don't have a CW filter and you're operating CW. Now I've got to decide what I want to do. Let's see, let's start the radio here. I may start with single sideband because I've got an internet connection here, which is important if you're doing Parks on the Air and you're doing phone operation, because there's no reverse beacon network, there's no auto spotting or anything like that involved. The two modes that you can do sort of auto spotting, as I've mentioned before, are CW and also FT8, FT4, those auto spot to the POTA network. So let's see here, let me look and see if anyone is on the air right now on 40 meters, and I don't see anyone from the POTA spots right now. So let me find a clear spot. This is one of my favorite frequencies typically for POTA activations, 7197. No particular reason. I hear a little QRM on the sides, but not too bad. Is this frequency in use? So the one thing I have done is I set this up for high power operation, which for this radio I think is 10 watts. I don't have a separate watt meter or anything like that. And no, thank you very much. I'm about to do a Parks on the Air activation. I'll move elsewhere. There are a lot of other places there, but thank you for coming back to me. This is K4SWL. Oh, you don't have to move down on my account. I can move somewhere else, but if you are moving, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You come back and interfere in a little while. We'll have two more operate.
Thank you, sir. Hey, take care in 7-3s. This is K4SWL. So I'm guessing this is fairly well tuned up. I'm going to hit my tuner here. Yay. Okay, so that was pretty close, I'm guessing. And now I'm going to spot myself to the POTA network. Now, this radio does not have voice memory keying, so I can't record a message and have it play it over and over again. It just does not have that functionality, but it does have it for CW activations. So I'm spotting myself on the side here to the POTA network on my tablet. This is a Microsoft Surface Go. A lot of you have asked about that. This is a self-spot. Going in here and putting in my frequency, 7197. Park reference is K3378. Oh, and I've got to change that to capital K. And spot myself. There we go. Now I need to start calling CQ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Excuse me. One thing I should note about parks like the Blue Ridge Parkway, they're in multiple states, is you really should give the state that you're in as well. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. This is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Obviously the mic settings are fine on it. I haven't changed that. I don't know if this has an auto notch filter for me to get rid of that hit. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Okay, is that Kilo X-Ray 4 Mike India? Hey, thank you very much for the park to park, my friend. You're coming in about a 5x7 here at Park 3378 in North Carolina. QSL?
Roger, 3378 North Carolina. Our park number is 0521 South Carolina to 0521 South Carolina.
Roger, my friend. Thank you very much for giving me 0521 in South Carolina. Hey, 7-3s and enjoy the rest of your activation. Thanks for coming out here.
Can I get that park number one more time?
Roger. It is 3378 3378 QSL. Roger, my friend. 7-3s and have yourself a wonderful activation. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. So sometimes after you finish a contact, if you think someone will be right there, you can actually say QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sugar Whiskey Lima. That just means who's calling. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo 3 Echo Lima Golf.
Kilo 3 Echo Lima Golf, you got a great signal. About a 5x9 here at Park 3378 in North Carolina. QSL?
QSL, I have you 57 Southwestern Pennsylvania.
Roger. Thank you very much for the signal report from Pennsylvania. Hey, 7-3s and enjoy your week.
7-3 and good luck with your activation.
Thank you, sir. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. I'm still learning my way around this radio. In fact, it's more than learning it. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Meter, that's what I wanted to change. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. So far, we know this radio works, right? I mean, hey, right out of the gate, we made 2 contacts. And you're not seeing me log here because I'm actually logging on my laptop. When I do CW, I tend to copy down the call both on my pad.
Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Delta Golf.
Okay, Kilo Echo 8 station, go ahead. Is that? Can you just give me your full call again there, sir?
Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Delta Golf.
Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Delta Golf. Hey, you've got a great signal, about a 5x9 here at Park 3378 in North Carolina. QSL?
QSL on the 5-9. I have you about a 4-4, a 44 into West Virginia. QSL?
Roger on the 4x4 into West Virginia. Hey, thank you very much for contacting me there from West Virginia, and I hope you have a great week.
73, thank you for the activation.
7-3, sir. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
November 8, Romeo Oscar Delta.
November 8, Romeo Oscar Delta, great signal. You're 5x9 here, Park 3378 in North Carolina. QSL?
QSL on the 5'9" and 3378. You're 5'6" here in Ohio. Oscar Hotel, over.
Roger, roger on the 5x6 in Ohio. Hey, thank you very much for the contact, my friend, and have a great week.
QSL 7-3, thanks for the park today.
7-3s. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sugar Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. Usually only say QRZ if I think someone else is probably listening and ready to pounce. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Now normally, I think if I had a little bit longer time, I would probably call CQ here for 15, maybe 20 minutes. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to cut it a little short. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. And normally when I'm not, when I'm doing a normal activation, especially if I got a voice memory keyer, I'm actually calling CQ every 5 seconds, but I wanted to stop here and talk to you guys in between. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. I like to keep it going enough that if someone lands on the frequency, they can tell I'm still there. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Okay, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima. I'm going to QSY down to do a little bit of CW here on the 40 meter band. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima, QSY. So when I tell people I'm QSYing, QSY means that you're changing frequency. And it's not necessarily something you have to do. I mean, you're supposed to, at the end of any conversation, leave your call sign. But I tend to do that at the end of every single call anyway, because I do like to end, you'll hear operators that treat it more like a contest, and but I do like to, personally, I like to end every contact with my call sign. So even in CW, when I send 7-3s, I'll usually say DEK4SWL at the end of it. So let's try CW now. Here is where it's going to get interesting, okay? So first of all, oh my goodness, okay. I have no filter, so this thing's wide open, and I'm on 7063 here. I've got to try to find a clear spot. So I can find a clear spot. Is that clear? Now I've got to remember how to get into the CW memories. I think I press mode and hold it. I think that's it. Oh look, got a honeybee on my 3 amp hour battery. I think it's a honeybee. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. I'm not hearing anyone there. Let's try the tuner. It's kind of a loud tuner, but you know what? It does a trick. The MPass 2.0 is basically a random, it acts like a random wire antenna. It's a vertical, but it is not resonant on any one frequency. You need an antenna tuner in order to use this particular radio. I'm very, very happy that it's successfully tuning up this antenna, because this is a great antenna, and I like to use it. I know that some radios, if their antenna tuners aren't very good and they're not great at matching, they just kind of knock off a little bit of the SWR. They may not be able to match an antenna like this, but obviously this one can. I'm hearing no one on here, so I'll start calling CQ. See, I already programmed this in. And I need to go on my log here and change this to CW. Now, I'm not spotting myself on this because, hypothetically, it should show up on the reverse beacon network. And you'll notice I'm not noting times down here because I'm doing that on my logs here on the side. I know there's a way to get it to replay the memory. I haven't learned how to do that yet, but we'll try it here. I'll try one thing, I should say. Okay, now I just pressed and held that. Let's see how quickly it does it. It should do it maybe as a beacon, I'm guessing. Yeah, it doesn't leave a lot of time. I need to adjust that to probably like 3 or 4 seconds. It's probably set at 2 seconds. I'm going to do it manually. I like to leave enough time that if someone has it's just a little slower, that they have an opportunity to send. Okay, maybe somebody will come back this time. You may hear a little bit of clicking. That is some of the relays inside the 703. And the 703 does not have really full break-in QSK. When you hear me, full break-in means that you can hear in between the dashes and dots. You can't really do that on this radio, unfortunately. I think the quickest recovery from the relay is something like 200 milliseconds or something, so, but it doesn't really matter. But I can say that, you know, a lot of CW activators and CW people in general really won't buy a radio these days unless it has full break-in QSK. I'm just not good enough of an op that it makes that big of a difference to me. Oh no, something's not right. Something is not right. Okay, let's see here. I've got to try to fix this. Let's see, I think it's somewhere in this thing. Key speed 70, reverse. Normal, high, key speed. Let's try this again. Why is it sending? Okay, let's see. This is going to be painful, but I may have to do this by hand. Let's see, because I'm not sure what kind of... I've got this in correctly. This is not the key. This is not the key, by the way. This is something that I've done here. Okay, let's see here. I've got it in reverse. Let's try this. This is one of the great things about doing this in real time, isn't it? Okay, it thinks it's a paddle. Oh, this may not be good. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to think of how to get into any other CW functions. Now, I tried this at home and it worked fine. However, I have... It's sending da-da-da-da-da-da. This is one of the things about this radio is I am not familiar with the... It's only giving me RF powered. I will have to look here in the settings. Mode. No. Maybe SFF. I'm just trying to look through these. I may not be able to do CW on this until I sort that out. I'm sure it is just a setting. That's all this is a setting. But I don't know what setting it is. And I'm not familiar with this radio, which is one of the reasons why it's a little scary to come out and do this. So what I'm going to do is cheat. Never leave home, I say, without a spare radio. So here we go. We're going to try this with my KX2. So let's unplug this guy. Unplug this. Turn him off. There we go. And we'll move the KX2 over here. So you have to be ready to improvise, right? I know people are sitting there thinking, where did he go? What's wrong with his key? Why can't he send something? It's Parks on the Air. This isn't a contest. It's not a de-expedition. People are patient. Now let's hope I have some charge in this. What frequency was I on? Let me check my spots. I think it was 7059. Is that right? Let's see, 7059. Yes, 7059. Good. Okay. Okay. He sent me hi, hi, which is ha 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 ha. I hope I got this right. Now here's the funny part. I couldn't hear Mike at all, other than his K, but I recognized his K from his fist and I knew that was him. It's unmistakable, the rat. See how the band changed right there? He was blasting through my receiver a second ago. You hear him coming back up? That is QSB. That's fading. You hear the fading happening? I've slowed down my speed. Accidentally hit that. VE3 LDT is another guy that I can understand. I know his fist. Okay. I think I'm not sure. Oh. This is a park to park. K4NYM is at another park right now. He's giving me his details. He's at 1928. I keep forgetting to send North Carolina with my exchange, but I need to do that with the Blue Ridge Parkway because it's in multiple states. And K4NYM, he is, I can't talk and key at the same time. Yeah, K4NYM, though, he is a big-time activator. He is always on the spots, always working stations. Now let's move to a different band, and I'll stay in CW. You know what? I'm going to be courteous and say, I sent QSY just so people would know that I'm moving. Let's try here, and then I may try to go back to the 703 here in a second. The 703, to be really clear though, it is not a fault of the transceiver. It's just a setting I've got or something with my key. I haven't checked to see how it's configured, but back home it was working just fine. However, I had my buddy Vlado worked on this radio. It had just a little bit of weirdness in the encoder, and turned out just it needed to be cleaned out. So he took apart this front faceplate and did all that stuff. So probably when he did that, it reset like all of its settings. And so I just don't have something in here quite correct, and I'll fix that. But that's the reason I bring another radio along. Always have two radios if you've got two radios, even if you just have a really simple radio. Now the KX2 is not a simple radio. I mean, it does all kinds of things. You can send PSK31 with it. So it's not a simple radio, but, and then this was pretty much, I could tell it was probably a 1-to-1. You may have noticed too, I moved the keying speed. You can hear the difference. 19 words a minute is about as fast as I ever want to send. Normally, again, with Parks on the Air, I don't want it to feel like a contest. I'm not that great of a CW operator to begin with, but I don't want it to feel too contesty, so I'm not going to operate at 30 words a minute or something with this. But 19 words a minute gives you a little extra clip there, and you can kind of work through more contacts in a shorter period of time, I guess. And I'm very willing, if someone comes back to me really slowly, or I think that they're, I don't recognize their call, and I can tell that they want to slow down, even if they don't send QRS, like all I have to do is just turn the keying speed down and continue on. We'll see how quickly the reverse beacon network picks me up. This is one of the reasons why the KX2 is just one of my favorite transceivers ever. It's so small, it fits in this little pack, and I can just take it along with me everywhere regardless. So if I'm trying out a new radio and something doesn't go well, or if I forgot a connector, this little pack has everything in it for the KX2, and since it's got a built-in battery and a built-in ATU, I don't really need anything else. It's kind of stands on its own. Whereas the 703, it has an ATU, but it doesn't have a built-in battery pack. They made them for that radio. In fact, my friend that was selling them, he actually had some that were new old stock, but I didn't get one because I tend to use like these little Bioenno lithium iron phosphate batteries. I love those. And this little 3 amp hour one will run this radio for probably for a few hours. The KX2, I don't remember when I actually charged the battery last in it. But it's running 10 watts, which tells me that I must have had a pretty good charge in it. And just because I'm keeping count here, I've got a total of 14 contacts right now, so I've more than made my activation. Which means I probably won't hang around here a whole lot longer because I do need to get back to the house. My father-in-law will be there within an hour, so I've got to pack up yet. Oh, wait, okay. KZ, sorry if you're watching this. I just could not get his call. I was expecting a number there where the Z was, and I was turning that into a 7 or an 8. He's in Ohio as well. Illinois. Wow, that's not often I get to hear Mike there. Mike is in north central Ohio. He's a good friend, and I often don't hear him on 30 meters. You would be surprised. Sorry, I thought I heard something there. You would be surprised how easy it is to move your speed up. Actually, it's not too hard. You know, I am tempted to call it here. I have got 17 contacts right now in the books. Maybe, you know what, let's move up to the 20 meter band just for kicks. Or maybe, no, let's move up to the 18 meter band. How about that? Let's just give this a go. I'll move up to 96. This may be a very quiet band, actually. Yeah. And do I have the preamp on? Yes, I do. So I'll call CQ here just a little bit. We'll see if we get anybody. 17 meters, 17 meters is not always the best, but it is the middle of the day. Sometimes you can get a little DX off of it. So we'll just see what happens. I'd like to go back to the 703, but I don't really want to change this around now, and I want to discover what's happening with the CW portion of it. But, you know, wasn't it fun getting it on the air for the first time? I really enjoyed that. Obviously, I expected I'd have to change the mic settings or something, but you know what? It worked pretty well with whatever the default settings are on this thing, or whatever the settings were last time someone used it. I'm looking forward to putting I think it's called a FL52T 500 hertz CW filter in it. I'll tell you that what I really love about those radios like this is for a picnic table or something, they've got a really large encoder. It's got a nice display. I mean, this one does too. The KX2 has a great display. It's high contrast. It's easy to read outdoors. And it's a rugged kind of, well-built radio. Very much time-tested. Lots of people own them. And like I said, I needed it like I need a hole in the head, to be honest. I've got quite a few QRP radios, but I really enjoy doing this. I love trying out different radios, and I like having different ones in my radio arsenal because another thing is I like doing shortwave radio listening, and radios like both of these actually, but the 703 is a nice shortwave radio listening station as well. I mean, it's got a general coverage receiver, it covers all the HF bands, and the AM filter's wide, so it sounds pretty good to listen to broadcasts on it. It's not optimized for those bands, but it works well. KX2 is very similar. I have done lots and lots and lots of shortwave radio listening with this radio, even though I think its maximum bandwidth is 5 or 5.2 kilohertz, but there's an audio effects setting that you can put on this one that makes it sound sort of broader, and I like that. And it's just so portable and easy to take places that when I travel, I'll take this radio with me and do shortwave radio listening with it. It's actually really good for DX. It's, if you want broadcast high fidelity audio from your radio, this is not going to provide that. You need something with a nice wide AM bandwidth, really good audio out of a built-in speaker. So super portable radios like this aren't great for that, but it does a fantastic job with clarity, with sensitivity, with selectivity, all those things. So it's actually one of my favorites to take out shortwave radio listening. And I can't wait to see what the 703 is like. Another reason I got the 703 is my daughter, who received I've got two daughters, both of them got their licenses last year, but K4TLI, my daughter Geneva, she is studying for her general right now, and I think she will come out with her dad sometimes to do park activations. And she doesn't know it yet, but I'm giving her an option for a couple different radios that I'll let her just use or keep. One of them may be the 703 if she wants it, or I have an LNR Precision LD11 transceiver, which she may like because it's a little smaller, I don't know, but I'm actually probably going to push her toward this one because it's got a built-in ATU and it's, rugged and easy to take places. It's a great starter radio too. I'm not really getting anybody here. One thing I will show you, let me see. Well, actually, I have got, check and see if I've got some spots going here for me. Am I showing up on the spots? Yes, I am. It's picking me up on 18095. It's saying 0.9. So I'm getting spotted. This is just not a great spot this time of day to log a ton of contacts. 40 meters is much more capable. Okay, this will be my last call and then I'll pack up. Okay, that's it. So one thing that that determines how long I stay out besides the amount of time I have, and one thing that determines actually how many contacts we get when we go out to a park, I think it actually has less of an effect than people think, but the Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina has been activated tons of times. It's got to be one of the most popular parks, especially in North Carolina, but maybe even in the whole Parks on the Air program. So this isn't rare. People aren't going to jump out here to grab me because they're not going to take a break at work to work the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now, if I was at some really rare park that had never been activated before, someone may be willing to do that. So I'll get more calls doing that. However, in Parks on the Air, you'll find that most chasers and hunters, they work stations because they enjoy working stations and they enjoy the numbers. So, they're not really always just looking for rare parks. So I never have a problem working the ones I want. And again, I think I had a pretty good showing today. I've got, 17 stations here in the logs. And people ask me what's better, doing a paper log or doing a computer log when you go. I will tell you that I don't trust computers entirely. And what I tend to do is after I finish a contact, after I turn off this video, I will actually take a picture of my screen here with all the contacts on it. That way, if I were to lose something, I have a copy of it just as a picture. Also, with CW contacts, I kind of keep nice clear copies of it, and I can kind of go back and recreate when the times were and get within probably 10 minutes of when I work someone, if I really have to do that. But being able to log these things in the field with a program like N3FJP is really nice, because when I go later to submit the logs, I don't have to transcribe them again. And sometimes you get errors when you transcribe like that. So I find it just kind of more effective and efficient to use a log when you can. But if you've looked at some of my videos, if I'm hiking in somewhere a couple miles, or you know, I've got a really minimal sort of setup like my MTR3B or you know, something like that, and I'm operating, you know, on a little stool or on the ground in the forest, I am not going to bring my tablet along. I would much rather just take it down on Notepad. And I've got some Ride and Rain notepads that I use if I think the weather could be dodgy. I've got some other small notepads that I like, and I think they're made by Emoji, the company Emoji, and I just like the size of them for small, really portable setups. But nothing beats paper. You know you've got a good copy of it, and as long as you transcribe it correctly to submit your logs, you're fine. But anyway, thank you very much for coming out with me today, and I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. You'll notice that there have been no advertisements in this video at all. Even if you don't have an ad blocker or something running, I have no ads in my videos, and that's just kind of a choice I make, because really I want these to be sort of educational, and I think the last thing you need in an hour-long boring video is a bunch of ads stuck in it as well. So there are no ads. If you want to support me, I think I have decided this year I want to upgrade some of my equipment a bit to give you guys a little bit better experience out here than just using my phone to make videos. You can support me through Patreon. I'll try to remember to leave the link in the description below. And I'll also probably I'll probably write this up for qrpr.com, which is my blog. The Patreon and Coffee, if you want to support me through the Coffee Club too, they all show up as the SWLing post. That is one of my other blogs. It's sort of my main blog, actually. It's swlingpost.com, the shortwave listening post. And so all those things sort of show up as the SWLing post, but they also support QRPR. And if you want to, you can even put a note in saying you'd like this to go toward you know, my videos. But I will not do ads in my videos. I've made that decision. I just want to keep them like they are. So thank you very much for joining me. Next time I take this guy out in the field, I'll understand it better. I'll hopefully have an optional filter in because I really wanted to see, you know what, I may do it even. I may try to do one before that. I'll sort out what's going on with the keying. Because I think it'd be awfully fun to try to do CW if I do have a little bit of interference, and see how well I can handle that, which probably very poorly is how I'll handle that. But anyway, if you have a 703, I'd love your comments on it, see what you think. And the other equipment I've got here is a 3 amp hour bioenergy, or BioEnoPower, sorry, 3 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. This is a little DC distribution panel that I made from the Ham Radio Workbench podcast. They had a little kit that came out and I made that. And I'll have equipment links and stuff like that in my qrpr.com post on this, and I'll have a link down there for that. Anyway, thank you all very much, and 7 threes.